parameters in C for the course Programming in C. I am Katkade from KK Polytechnic, Nasik. Let us see the contents of the today's presentation. We'll be talking about the parameters in the C functions, how to specify the parameters, and what are different methods for passing the parameter. As already we have seen that how to write a function in C. To recall again, here is the sample given. In the slide, what is presented here is the function written to find maximum of two numbers. So the name of the function is given here, max2, or the function declaration is specified here with the return type integer, name of the function max2, and there are function parameters. Two parameters are given here. This is the body of the function where actual processing is being performed, and the return value to the function name. As well as we have the main program where we are going to use the function or call the function. Here it is indicated that how we are going to use the function or call the function to find maximum of the two numbers. Let us see further that how the parameters play important role in calling the functions or use of the functions in C. So as we see in the function declaration now, I have combined the two function and the main function together now. So if you see the function, one of the function written here, max2, we have two parameters indicated here. The parameter indicated are, okay, the parameters are integer a and integer b, which have been given here. So the parameters here which are given in the declaration of the function are called as the formal parameters. So these are referred as formal parameters. Here the formal parameters are two. One is a, other is b. At the same time, when you are going to call a function from the main program, max2 is being called from here, and the value is assigned to the variable max here. Here the two variables which are being used in main are x and y, and these two variables or values are called as the actual parameters, which will be sent from the calling function. Now the calling function is main and the called function will be the max2. So we'll be using this term calling function or called function there. In addition to this, there are terms as local variables, local variable in main, local variable in a function. So main has three local variables, x, y, and max, and the max2 has one local variable given as a result. For considering the parameters a and b are also considered as local variables for the function max2. So in other words, all parameters which are given in the function declaration are also the local variables for the function and can be used within the function where those are specified. Our focus is for the type of the parameters and how the functions are using those. So the parameters are passed by using two techniques named as call by reference and call by value and call by reference. What is the basic meaning of call by value? In the call by value, the arguments, that is actual parameters, will refer the name arguments also for actual parameters from calling function are copied to the respective parameters in the called function. Those are called the formal parameters in the sequence they have been specified. So we have to remember that the value of the formal parameter, value for the formal parameters will be copied from the actual parameters from the calling function. So the value of the formal parameters will be used there. in the call by value part. Details will be given later on in the slide. In call by reference, rather than passing the value of this, the memory address of the arguments from the calling function, the parameters which are the actual parameters from the calling function, are given to the respective parameter in the respective formal parameters in the called function. So the order of the parameters is important. It will be given according to the order what we are given. The number of parameters in the calling function and call function should be same. That is already the basics for the function declarations. Now this is what is meaning that what is called by value and call by reference. Let us see what is the effect of this call by reference and call by value. So this is the example where we are going to see that how the call by value will be used. So I have taken another example here, the function swap, which is used to swap the two values or exchange the value of two values of two numbers, integer a and integer b, and the result is being given in the result is to be given in the parameters only, but there is a different case here. So as we call a swap function in the main, what is going to happen is that in the main, when the main is executing, the variables x and y are created a memory, and the values what we read, let us say 26 and 42 are the example values given to x and y. So in the scanf, when we read out, x is given 26, y is given 42, and these variables x and y are created in the main function. So the separate area has been shown here, but how it has been created. Now when you are going to call the function swap, the execution will transfer from the main to the function swap. Now as it is transferred, the parameters what we have given here, x and y, will be given the name a and b correspondingly, and when we call it, a is created, b is created, and the value to a is given what is the value given to x, and value to b is the value given in y from the calling function. Now when we execute this, we are going to exchange this. So what is going to happen is that we'll assign value to temp variable. So temp variable during the execution will be updated to 26. A will be changed to b and b will be changed to a. As I'm going to swap here, it will be happening there. Now when we complete the execution of the function here, when it is completed, so the execution will come back to the main program. When it is to be coming back to the main function, then the all variables here, temp a and b, will be removed from the memory and they will not be available. So we are using the value of x and y in the function swap, and after completion these values are not available for the main, or there is no updation done to the values of x and y. The x and y originally remain as it is, 26 and 42. So this is what is called by value. Only values are copied and used there. Separate memory has been allocated during the call of the function as being indicated here. Now let us see what happens in case of the call by reference. Now for the call by reference, what is important that we should know the basics of the pointers in C. So without pointers it will be difficult to understand call by reference used in a function parameters. Let us assume that we know something about pointers. Now when you are going to call here now the function swap and giving the parameter call by reference, here call by reference, so rather than giving direct value, what we are provided is the value of we are providing the address of x and address of y rather than the value of x and other value of y. So in main, x will have some value, y will have some value. That is what we are using it. That, let us say initially it is 26 and 42 for y. X has a different memory location, y has a different memory location. But we call a function swap. For call by reference, the function declaration must also indicate that I am using the pointers here. So I am using a as a pointer to integer, b as a pointer to integer other. Okay. So when I going to call it, what is going to happen is that the address of x is copied to a. So a will be using the same memory location where which is being used by x, and b will be using the same memory location which is used by y. So when we start execution of this, a is the address, b is the address. So we take the value from a with the pointer conventions, and then we use the algorithm or the steps to swap the values of a and b. And what happens? The value of a is be changed, b is changed, b is changed. So indirectly, what is happening that I am changing the value of the memory location where x is pointing and where y is pointing. So during updations, what happens that the 26 is updated for a is equal to b, as and x becomes 42 and b is equal to 10. In that case, y is updated from 42 to 26. Now when swap is completed, these variables will be removed from the memory as these are local variables to the swap. Now what is the effect of this? That when I come to the function main, the value of x is updated to 42 and the value of y is updated to 26. Indirectly these are exchange, the two values are exchanged, and we are getting the modification back to the calling program. That is what is the effect of the call by reference. So in call by reference, the modifications to the variables or the parameters will be reflected back to the calling program. It is very important to remember. So in other words, what is being shown is there that the address of x is copied to address of y is copied to b, and a and b will be using the addresses these which are same as the address of x and b. So the updations will go for the modifications of a, and after change it will be the new values here. This is for the reference only. Now by going through that, the call by value and call by reference are the two different techniques here, in which here is the summary that how the two are differentiating here. So as we had discussed that call by value is giving the value to the actual from actual parameter to formal parameter, and in call by reference we are giving the memory address of the actual parameter or the formal parameters. Here in call by value, modifications done to the formal parameters are not reflected back to the calling program or calling function. In case of call by reference, modifications performed by for the actual formal parameters are reflected back to the calling program or actual parameters. So we have to take care of this when you are going to use call by reference whenever you are going to use, as it is going to alter the value of the variables which are being used in the formal parameters. Also, we need to use pointers in case of the call by reference. In case of call by value, pointers are not required. Thank you for watching my video. Kindly subscribe and like it on the YouTube.